Both head coaches maybe not very familiar with each other coaching-wise, but very familiar with each other back when they played in the earlier part of the 2000s, 2010. Both Depking and Spencer played for the Tennessee Diamonds. How about that?
Yeah,
15 years later, here they are.
Two of the best at what they do, playing at the next level after college, being able to represent this sport on the highest level, and then returning, and both with the goals of reshaping programs into what they used to be in both Cal and Syracuse.
And they both played each other collegiately. Cal was ranked #1. Depking was on a 5th-ranked team, Tennessee. They both went 1 for 3 in that matchup back in 2005. And we talked to Coach Depking about that. We brought up that moment. She says, it was probably the only double I hit that season.
Got to have a little bit more confidence in yourself, but she was a freshman.
There you go.
With that being said, Coach Depking did play 95% of her collegiate games. She was the starting catcher. So just a little bit of context in case you weren't aware how good Coach Shannon Depking was behind the plate.
All SEC catcher, Depking. All right, Madison Knight back in the circle to start this top half of the third.
And you just hear that. Hear the dugout, hear how rowdy this environment is getting.
And hard ground ball gets by Breen and Bernie. Leadoff base hit for Holly Medina, bottom of the order for the Bears.
I mean, when you talk about what this team needed to do to see success, you know Kelly Breen is going to watch against that slap hit, and Coach Spencer acknowledged, hey, if you're going to come in, I'm going to hit it right at you. I'm gonna make you forced to make that play, and it's difficult sometimes when you're that close and that far down the line.
Knight had 2 runners on last inning, got out of it. Leadoff runner aboard here. We'll see what Elon Butler can do at the plate. Pops up the bunt, and it ends up a fair ball. The throw is late, and everyone is safe. Medina goes all the way to third, and that is about as tough luck as you can have if you're Syracuse.
Yeah, there's a simple lack of communication that went on here, because this is a perfectly placed bunt, but the question becomes who's going to pick that up in the traditional sense that should have been Tessa Gallipo to be the one to grab so that Kelly Breen can stay home to prevent that movement from first to third. Morales-Alves covers to the left side, so had that ball gone a little bit to the left, she would have been there, but that should have been all Gallipo. But a simple miscommunication there, and now you've got 2 runners on with nobody out. And this is a spot that, like we mentioned earlier, Coach Depking expressed you cannot have with this Cal team. They've got a lot of players that can hit homers, one swing. This is a 3-run ball game.
10 bombs on the season for Quiroga. Cuts right through Knight's fastball upstairs. And Elon Butler will go to second on the pitch. So 2 runners in scoring position for Cal, looking to take the first lead of the ball game.
You saw how kind of jumpy Morales-Alves was behind the plate, even when the first player was on. Is you've got to be cautious because this Cal team, they'll run. Morales-Alves, though, really solid, has the most caught stealers in all of Syracuse history.
Set that program record earlier this season. Speaking of cautious, that's what Coach Spencer has described as the base running of her team once in a while, especially last weekend. Was not very pleased with the way they ran the bags. Ground ball up the middle, gets through. 1 run comes in, and the second one is easily in there as well. Medina and Butler come through, and it's a 2 RBI base hit for Quiroga. Cal jumps on Syracuse 2-0 here in the third.
And that's where you go back to that one simple miscommunication has turned this game into a 2-run ball game in favor of Cal. It's simple things like that that really can grind the gears of head coach Shannon Depking, because that could be an easy mistake. And now you have to wonder, what does Madison Knight think? Because she's done her job in the circle, but now the defense hasn't supported her.
We talked a little bit earlier, Nate, about the 2 of 3 facets that need to come through for Syracuse, either offense, pitching, or defense. And the defensive woes so far at least come into fruition in this game. Just a couple of tough plays here and there. Especially that bunt by Butler. The other thing was that had some air under it, too.
Yeah.
So Butler got away with that to an extent.
Yeah, that bunt was popped up and probably catchable if you would have had to make an athletic play, but definitely an attempt.
Anders skies this one to deep left, and it ends up on the warning track. She'll end up at second. And a double for Anders. Quiroga goes to third. Cal is cruising offensively, still with nobody out.
But that double had a little bit more significance if you're Anders. She is now Cal's all-time career leader in doubles with 51 in a season. So that is as impressive as you can get when it comes to what she's been able to do at the plate. And although no runs came in, 2 runners in scoring position, nobody out.
Last time that happened, Quiroga drove him in. Swing and a miss from Tiana Bell. Not exactly the player you want up in this situation if you're Syracuse. Leads the team with 13 homers. But to hit home on your point about Anders' doubles. Past Lindsey Rood for that spot. Ground ball goes to second. The throw home is high. And now it's a rundown. And they're going to tag out Quiroga there at third. So finally the first out of this third inning.
And that's a smart play. A very smart play to come home with this ball, because you don't know what Cal is going to do. And because they went out and they got too aggressive, they got too big of a lead, Morales-Alves knows with them kind of sandwiched together, just run at, because you're going to get one or the other. It doesn't matter which. An out is an out.
So here's Kaylee Pond. Made an incredible catch, leaping over the wall in foul territory in the last half inning. And takes a friendly strike for Madison Knight.
This might be the most important pitch of the game so far if you are Madison Knight, just to get out of this inning and allow your bats a chance to claw back in.
Bell stands on second, Anders at third. With one down here in the top of the third inning. Knight goes back to that same spot and the same result.
Very rarely do you see Knight take any longer than 2 or 3 seconds to reset.
Line drive to center, and it gets by Lopez. A misread for Syracuse. 2 runs are going to score for Cal, and Kaylee Pond is amped up. 2 RBI double extends Cal's lead to 4.
And how about you add on to just the excellent week and a half that you're having if you're Kaylee Pond. Those are the pitches that you dream of. Those are the ones that when you're in the cage, that is the definition of perfect as a hitter. To just sit there and you can see how hyped that means. Give your pitcher a little bit of a cushion. But to see a off-speed pitch hanging, middle, little bit on the outside so you can take it the other way. Doesn't help that Madeline Lopez had a bad read on it in center, but you'll take those breaks because in just like that, this game has completely blown open.
4 runs, all of them have come here in the third. And Cindy Jackson warming up for Syracuse. Coach Debking did say she was going to ride Madison Knight as long as possible in any of these 3 games here to end the regular season. But 4 runs here in the third has caused some action for the Syracuse bullpen. Looks like Rose Cano also warming up.
And it's interesting because Coach Debking has made it very clear that it's very intentional on who pitches after Madison Knight because of the style in which she pitches, more east to west hard. You want to follow that with somebody that throws a little more north-south and a little bit slower. When you look at Sydney Jackson, she's almost a carbon copy of Madison Knight.
Lee pops out to Bernie, and there are 2 gone here in the 3rd. Kaylee Pond still at second base.
Playing second base, number 56, Mia Phillips.
So here's Mia Phillips. Knight misses way upstairs for ball 1.
And I mean, look at the aggressiveness of Pond on second base. That's what Coach Spencer was talking about, just moving around.
It causes so much disruption if you're the pitcher.
It does, and even though Knight
all
may not be
mind games.
thinking about it,
Yep.
and you know, there's no pickoff move or anything like that. If you're Morales Alves, you've got to think, is she going? Is she not? She's almost a third or half the way down the baseline.
And Coach Spencer is repeatedly mentioned, base runners are on their own to an extent. She trusts them to be very aggressive. Knight's 1-1. Chopper to 3rd, foul.
I mean, see how far Pond was there on just a quick little chopper there, almost at 3rd base. I mean, if anything is remotely slow on the ground or hit hard in the outfield, she's scoring. There's a lot of speed, depth, and versatility out of this California lineup. You saw it in the 3rd here that they can just break open a game and they can keep piling on.
Phillips stays alive. 4 runs in a hurry, all of them here in this 3rd inning. Kaylee Pond, 2 RBI double. And Logie Quiroga, a 2 RBI base hit as well.
Not really surprising to see those guys bringing in the runs. 39 RBIs for Quiroga.
Phillips gets a piece. And that'll end the inning. 4 come through for Cal. Orange face an early deficit. Down 4 heading into the bottom half of the 3rd.